Robinson here with respected Yahoo columnist Kevin Iole. Kevin, I was going to ask you, we're in town here for the Amir Khan-Garcia fight. How do you break down that fight? What do you think about it?
I think it's a fascinating fight. You know, this is going to be the fight, Chris, that to me determines is Danny Garcia a legit top shelf guy.
Okay.
You know, the Eric Morales fight, you know, puts him in the ballpark, but you know, you're talking about a 40-year-old Eric Morales who was at the end of the line. And Amir Khan, you're talking about an elite, top-level guy. And if you can hang with him or beat him, then you are an elite, top-level guy yourself. And I think that's what we're going to see out of this fight.
And Amir Khan was supposed to fight Lamont Peterson. The fight got scrapped because Peterson was found to have testosterone in the system. Do you think that just the mental letdown of that and having to gear up for another training camp could affect Khan in some way?
Well, you know, that's often a worry that you have as a trainer, that your fighter is not going to be able to deal with some of the problems that have gone on. And that's a big mental problem. You're talking about a title unification bout. You're talking about a fight where he lost and he thought he won. He was very upset the last time.
Yeah.
You know, so he wanted to get that belt back, and so, you know, it is a concern. But I think Amir is a professional, and to my way of thinking, Amir knows how to come back from defeat. He's proved that in the past, and I think he'll handle it fine.
If win or lose, do you see Amir Khan staying at 140, or he has mentioned moving up in weight? What do you think about his future?
I think he's going to move up regardless, but if he loses, you know, he's certainly not the, you know, player that he was. I mean, if he wins, you know, he's in the stakes for Mayweather. You know, he becomes in for a lot of good fights. If he loses, though, it's like he lost to Lamont Peterson, now he loses to Danny Garcia, and he's going up in weight. It makes it very difficult to take him seriously as a top-level prospect. I think he is a top-level guy, Amir, but, you know, if he loses, it's going to be hard to put him in those kind of fights.
Do you think if he goes to 147, we could see him being positioned as a possible Floyd Mayweather opponent sometime in 2013?
Yeah, I think that would be Golden Boy's plan, that, you know, they would love to see him. I think that's why they were so disappointed he lost to Peterson,
right,
because I think the plan was, hey, have him ready for the spring to be able to fight Mayweather, and they had to make alternative plans. I think certainly when Mayweather gets out, he's going to be looking to fight again, and even though he has a 154-pound title, I think Mayweather considers himself a welterweight and would be looking to fight at that weight class, so that would be a perfect, you know, weight for Amir to fight Mayweather at.
And what did you think of Nonito Donaire's performance? He won a decision over Jeffrey Mathebula on HBO this weekend.
Pretty much what I wrote before the fight. You know, it was a good performance by Nonito, but it was not the kind of performance I think he needed to kind of elevate himself. I mean, to my way of thinking, this is a guy that's been talked about as not one of the best, but at the absolute top of the pecking order. And against a guy that didn't really hit that hard. I mean, I think that, you know, yeah, I understand he was 5'11", and Mathebula had a lot going for him. But I think when you're at the level Nonito Donaire is at, you need to get rid of guys like that. And now I was a little disappointed. I think Nonito's still a very good fighter, but I'm starting to think maybe he's not as good as I was giving him credit for being.
Okay, do you think he needs to stick? They're talking about him fighting Jorge Arce. After that fight, if he's successful, do you think he needs to stick around at 122 and really fight the Abner Marises and Rigondeaux to prove himself there?
I would like to, you know, Rigondeaux is a no-win fight because, you know, Rigondeaux is a make-you-look-bad type fighter.
Yeah.
And so no matter who you are, you fight Rigondeaux, and that's kind of what you're going to get. Rigondeaux isn't fighting to win; he's fighting to make you look bad. Although the Tayon Kennedy fight is, you know, but I don't think we see that from Rigondeaux against Nonito Donaire. But yeah, I think he'd be better off staying at 122 and establishing himself as the man, as opposed to this, you know, one fight move up, two fights move up. I think, you know, establish yourself once you've cleaned out the division or most of the division, then go ahead and move up. He's got a unique body that he can move different weight classes, and I think he can eventually go to 126. But you know what? He's not doing that great now. I mean, you know, some of these guys that he's fighting, you know, I think of the Narvaez fight, you know, was kind of disappointing. You know, even the Wilfredo Vasquez fight. Hey, I recognize that Vasquez is, you know, a world caliber fighter, but you know, Nonito Donaire is that special fighter, and I think that's the kind of guy that you got to get rid of.
All right, Kevin Iole, thanks a lot.